Hello everyone, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weekly weather show where I take a look at the weather across New Zealand and around the world, but not just looking at the bits of cloud and fronts, getting under the bonnet, looking at all the cool stuff for us here and in other parts of the world too. We're starting off looking at the big picture. You can see a big swirl, super typhoon, I'll point that out in a second, across the western Pacific. Our weather though, important week for the school holidays. What is it going to be like? Well, there will be some rain days. I'll show you what's going on in a sec. It shouldn't be too cold overall. Of course, coming in close, you can see how things look across Australia and New Zealand. Of course, with the travel bubble across the Tasman, what's it like? Maybe going with the kids to Australia. Lots and lots of clear sky, high pressure. Weather's pretty quiet over Australia. Heading there Monday, Tuesday. A new front to the far south rides in some showers for Adelaide and also Melbourne. Those are showers for Sydney by midweek. You can see also the areas of cloud. There's one area of low pressure starting to take shape. But you know, I like to look underneath and see what's going on because all the clouds are formed by something going on. So let's look at the upper levels of the atmosphere and you start seeing, ooh, wow, funny lines going on. But the squeezes in the atmosphere, what I like to call the bits of upper energy, upper trough there, the bend there, piece of energy, and this thing here, that will be our Tuesday rainmaker. Tuesday into Wednesday, some rain across New Zealand. And then back here, you've got the good old westerlies kicking pretty strong, but they'll more or less be going that way instead of that way, which means it's pretty mild. And with a westerly flow this week, that means eastern areas you're doing pretty well. Temperature wise, we had that cool down over the weekend. This week for a lot of us, it's teens to some 20s. Not bad, of course, if you're going around the country. And checking out things then. Over this week, Tuesday rainmaker, here he comes. Wound in. That'll track through Tuesday, the leftover bits and pieces Wednesday. Thursday's a quieter day. And then we get this, and another upper trough comes in. It looks like that. That blue line, by the way, is where the snow level drops below 1,000 meters. That's a good indication of where your cold air is. Notice how it's staying south of the country, and we're staying kind of in a westerly flow. Your rain days are Tuesday into Wednesday, that guy there, and then of course this one with another piece of energy. You see how that lump slides through, going Thursday and eventually there into perhaps Friday into some western areas. But eastern areas are dry. Overall, it isn't looking too bad. You're wondering, will it be a real wet one? Well, Monday starting off okay. There'll be one or two showers in towards western areas, far south and west Fjord. These are just a few little dots of blue. That means the odd shower, Auckland, west coast. Eastern areas are fine. Temperatures, as I say, you're probably going to be looking at down south, mid to upper teens, pretty mild in some spots, and still some lower 20s further north. That rainmaker there, he's Tuesday's rainmaker. Check this guy out. He winds his way in. That'll track in. So Tuesday could be the day where early on you might be okay. Eastern areas are going to be fine, but as the day wears on, Auckland and the west coast of the South Island will bring in that wet weather, which will certainly set the scene for what will be Wednesday. If you're going to be out and about across the country, yeah, that could be kind of the yucky sort of day. That will wind its way through. Leftover showers going through places like Christchurch down toward Dunedin. You'll probably squeak out an okay day going into Wednesday. That will all ease away. And as I say, after that, you've probably got another quietish day going into Thursday. And depending on the timing, because you know, you ever look at your favorite app or your weather maps and things, you say, well, how come the weather changes? It's because of the speed of the weather systems. This one here has been moving at different speeds. So we'll check this towards the end of the week. But Thursday at the moment, odd shower into the west, but for most it is dry. Friday we then bring in this massive stuff that's increasing wind and eventually cooler by the weekend, but that is another spell of some wetter weather to slowly slide its way in. And temperature's pretty mild. Rainfall, how much? Well, 10, 20 to maybe as much as 40 or 50 where the red is across parts of the North Island. West Coast gets the most this week. This is over the whole week. You could be seeing 50 to over 100 millimeters. Check out that. Parts of South Canterbury, North Otago, you might only, with a westerly flow, you're sheltered from the Alps. You may only get a couple of millimeters, but of all the rain we get is certainly needed as well. Right, let's go tracking. Let's go north. Super typhoon, Surajah. There it is. Wound in. This thing is getting towards its peak, and whenever they look like a big, ugly-looking spider with the good outflow, you know they're doing stuff. But see how the winds here are moving that way? Those are the westerlies, so that's already coming in, and you think, well, that's the Philippines there, and you see, that's pretty close. They're probably going to affect them, but there's a subtropical ridge here. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, if you look at the actual winds, if you follow the westerlies there, there's of course the super typhoon. See how the winds are going that way? That's like a brick wall. So this thing, instead of going like that, it's going to start curving as it hits the brick wall, and it will slowly start to shear or weaken going into the next couple of days. There's the track, there's the Philippines, Manila sitting there. Of course, wind gusts with this thing. as it's hitting its peak currently now, 250 to 300 kilometers per hour, that will have hit the shear and slowly start recurving, getting into what they call the westerlies. That is Taiwan, and then tracking away, going through the next few days. But some pretty nasty stuff. We head to the States. Check this out. Well, the weather there has been quite cool, and talk about cool. Follow the lumps of cloud going down around the upper trough storms there across Louisiana towards Florida. Look at those lumps of blue. It's like Mother Nature sitting up in Canada saying 1, 2, 3 floodgates, boom, down it comes. And you talk about cold, check out this blue. This is some 10, 15 to 20 degrees below normal for the temperature. So that means parts of the northern US, southern Canada will struggle to get over freezing during the day. It'll be, cold, like Mother Nature saying, nah, your winter's not over just yet. Then we move along, we head towards Europe. How do things check out there? They've had some colder weather too. It's quietening down a little bit. You can see how the flow of cloud goes. This stuff coming off the Atlantic, British Isles is there, that's much of Europe. And then these guys just sliding in from parts of Africa right the way to eastern parts of Europe, low pressure up there. It's all because of a big, big blocking high, which means the weather's a bit like spaghetti. You look at the upper level wind map and you go, whoa, what's going on? That's the westerlies. See that big circle? That's the brick wall blocking high, meaning these don't move in. The weather's just hanging out, it's chilled out, not really doing too much. In other words, you've got stormy weather there around the upper low, stuff going there, but it can't move through because of this big block. In other words, the weather's pretty quiet. You've got some showery weather and cool weather to the south and the east, and that front just flicks its way by, stretching though, and much from the British Isles towards Scandinavia. It's quiet, it's pretty much chilled out, and of course it's been pretty mild towards parts of Scandinavia over the last few days. So that's how the weather's looking. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, tune in next week and we'll take a look once again at the weather. That's the weather for now.